Hello, everyone. I'm super thrilled today. I've got a very inspiring lady with me. My family has known her family for more than three generations, which makes it even more personal. And
Yes.
she is an art curator, a gallerist, and she is the managing director of Nature Mort. And she's done a lot, in terms of pioneering contributions towards contemporary art in India and abroad. So thank you so much, Aparajita, for giving the time to do this new episode with me. And first of all, welcome to the show. And to begin with, I'll get it right down to it. What sparked your love for contemporary art, and how did you find Nature Mort?
So firstly, thank you, Siddhant, for having me here. I'm really excited to be a part of it, and it's always great to be an advocate and share, um, contemporary art with a larger audience. What sparked my love for contemporary art? I think I was always in love with art, but I discovered my love for art much later on, um, and not in a linear fashion, but a little bit in parts. I think a bit in school, a bit in college, and then after my son was born, I took a few courses. I started collecting, and then I recognized that the part of art that I loved was contemporary because you got to dialogue with artists that were alive. Um, you got to witness their thinking processes, how they observe the world, their expression around that observation, and us being able to share it. And as life becomes more and more sort of complicated and layered, or maybe we recognize the complexity in it, art helps navigate those moments and gives some pause
Right.
to our lives around us. So contemporary art is very, very special to me.
Okay. If you start anything, when it's a startup, there are a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles which come your way. I'm sure you must have faced also a lot while starting your own company. So, what were those kind of obstacles which you faced, and how did you overcome them?
So honestly, like I didn't start something thinking that it was a startup. I didn't start anything thinking that it would. I just started it because I loved it. I started actually my first initiative was something called limited editions, which was design and art together. That was something I began. That was my first project. Soon after, that meant dialoguing a lot with designers and artists and product designers. And I recognized that my best conversations, the ones that gave me great levity, were the ones with artists. And then, the growth curve was pretty quick because I realized that I had to make a choice.
Right.
Because at that time it wasn't, there were very definite silos that in which it existed. So it wasn't going to be, I couldn't do design as well as contemporary art as well as other kinds of art. So
Right.
I soon chose that I wanted to work with contemporary art. And at that time, it was pre-Nature Mod days. I soon after opened a company called Seven Art, which was only working with very young artists, almost first shows of certain artists, and artists that I work with today as well in Nature Mod. So, I mean, anybody who started a company knows that everything is new. No amount of learning or education prepares you for real life challenges. And it's okay. If you really love it, you'll figure a way out. I have tremendous support. I come from a business family, so there's always somebody around me and our friends who are able to give us or give me answers. And if nothing else, and they're always amazing professionals to help you figure it out. But as I've grown, my questions have grown or the need for solutions have grown, and I don't know if you're never not in a zone to your the moment today is startup for tomorrow,
Right.
and tomorrow is a startup for day after.
Yeah.
So there's always a space where you need to adapt and learn and scale up your own abilities and the abilities of your team. So it's a constant process. Was it difficult? It was crazy difficult because at that time I had very young children as well,
Right.
and so balancing life and work and children, navigating how to work, navigating the world of art, which wasn't in a boom space. It was in fact quite. Lehman had just happened, the 7 hour days, and funding was not available. Art buying was extremely nascent at that. I mean, not, but contemporary art had boomed and then sort of bust, like it had gone bust.
Okay.
And so I learned some very important lessons, and I learned lessons on frugality in conducting business. And I think that was great.
Right.
because it really sets the right way of approaching one's business. So I think it's been quite interesting and fun.
Okay. Now also with so much technology coming in, especially AI and other platforms, how is the evolution of the art world, happened? What do you think of it in today's time?
So when I began, that was around 2007-ish, 2005 actually, and then uh, emails were common, but social media wasn't really that existent. I don't even know when Facebook started.
Right,
Um, Marketing oneself or marketing a brand has entirely changed with social media. But in my world, of course, that means awareness has changed because of social media. But quality of content and the need for quality has not changed.
right,
So a great piece of art, the same the same value needed for that or the same rigor needed for that is the rigor you need today. So from the artwork point of view or the artist point of view, they still have to work really hard or they have to be gifted and they have to be relentless about their pursuit. That has not changed. How many more people it's going to be visible to has changed.
right,
So while that has changed and many more people know about it, cancel culture has also come in.
right,
So one is always opening it themselves up to as much negativity as positivity. So it's a double-edged sword. But on the whole, in a way, even though the world seems to have more firm borders, it is also an open world where a lot more is possible. Um, but social media, of course, has impact on the art world simply because of awareness and knowledge.
right. I'm sure you have a set targets for yourself. Like today, if I see nature more, probably 5 or 10 years down the line, what is the kind of vision which you have forward with nature more, and what are the kind of personal targets also that you've set for yourself?
So we really we're committed uh, to leading India with contemporary art and for India internationally, which is why a lot of our focus is also museums internationally or other institutions internationally. Having said that, India is a beautiful market, and so we don't need the foreign market, but I think it's important for growth because the academics or the intellectual rigor, we don't have the number of people who have invested time in intellectual rigor as there are internationally. So you need them to remain, they're the ones who are writing art history in a manner. So
Right,
it's critical to have those people included and involved. As per Nature Mod, we are looking at there's different kinds of expansion that we're working on. Of course, more cities will be part of are a part of our plan and they will unveil as they happen. And secondly, we are looking at different verticals as well. For example, we've tied up with Khaitan and Company to help increase knowledge about legal and art, inheritance and art. How do you buy art in what kind of structure? What is the kind of paperwork you need?
right,
Even for artists, what are the kind of trusts you need to ensure that your art, because provenance and fakes have become a big problem. So
right,
how do you protect that? So there are different kinds of things at play now, and that are going to start coming out as years progress. But of course, we're looking at many more spaces across the world, and I also run a sculpture park, which is under my nonprofit. I'm
okay,
hoping that that can expand to the country as well.
okay. Also, I want to know, how do you mentor young artists and young curators, who are wanting to get into this profession? They don't have a platform, to showcase their talent, and we know that India has it's a huge country of talent. So, how do
Yeah.
you mentor them?
So I can't say that I'm personally mentoring anybody because I wish I had more time, but like everything that we do consumes me a lot. But we have set up certain processes in place to help mentor. I have a platform called Terrain, which is only for younger artists that
Okay,
gives them the opportunity of at least even just uploading their work on a site, on a platform so that they're discoverable,
right,
and some amount of training on how to just transact or just basics, right? Curation under my nonprofit, again, we give curatorial grants to increase writing on India. And like I said, it's extremely important to have critical writing on artists, art trends, and things that are Indian, that might not follow the Western ideologies, but India against India, or India with reference to India.
Right.
So we do have a program, but we're very soon going to be actually announcing our curatorial grant with the India Art Fair.
Okay.
It's on its 10th year, so we're repackaging and relaunching it. And a part of that component is also to help curators in India. So we are going to be actually having a grant for curators in India so that we can help mentor them so that then they can start working globally, and bring best practices to India. So we are looking at this very carefully because I do think that we have to. I'm going to call it skill building right now, but it's really allowing uh, more platforms for people,
Right.
and platforms that otherwise would have been other nonprofit institutions. But given that we already have a lot of understanding and knowledge about the space we're in, we're investing in it.
Okay. Also, especially for the youth of today, there is a lot of people, who want to start their own business, but they don't know the know-hows how to start, what is that one positive message from your side, to our viewers watching us today, especially those young minds, the creative minds? What is that one kind of message which you'd like to give from your side to them?
I think passion comes first, and I think purpose and passion come first. And if one has passion and purpose, I think lots of roads and doors lead. Because in my experience, life has been and people have been phenomenal. I've been helped so much by so many people that I fundamentally believe that this world is always willing to help and work with people who have purpose. I mean, there isn't one thing that happened, but I do believe that the one thing consistently that has helped me is passion and purpose.
Okay.
Because, between the internet, all these amazing online courses that are available, the amount of infrastructural options in India today, I think answers are available. It's the desire to find those answers
Right.
and the ability to pivot. So suppose something is not working out, to really understand whether a is this a need that is there in the market, or do you need to pivot with something slightly different that could be a need?
Right. Okay. I'm going to come now to my fun segment, which is the rapid fire round. This is, to know you
Okay.
personally, and what are the likes and dislikes which you have. So these are going to be quick answers from your side. So to begin with, what is your all-time favorite holiday destination? You just want to go and unwind sometimes.
So till very recently it was the Maldives, but I think I'm going to change that to some mountain destination very soon.
Okay. What is your favorite artist, all-time favorite artist, if you had to name one?
That's a very, very difficult question because I'm obsessed with a lot of them. But
Okay.
I think I still have a very soft spot for Monet.
Okay. What is that one favorite read or a current read which you're enjoying a lot?
I'm actually really enjoying podcasts a lot more. So I've
Okay.
moved to listening to podcasts, which is strange because we're talking on one.
Right.
And I read a lot of Brené Brown.
Okay.
And a friend of mine sent me this quite amazing Brené Brown podcast today, and I've been hearing that. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but yes, I would go the podcast route. It's 20 minutes. It's great. It allows you to get what you want for the day, and you're on with it.
What is that one motto you stand by?
That's a tough one because there isn't one motto I stand by, but I feel very strongly about purpose.
What is your favorite cuisine and according to you, what you cook really well?
Okay, first of all, I barely cook, so sorry. That is not something that I don't really cook, and my children they of course say that I've never cooked, but I have cooked for them as I was younger,
Okay.
but they don't remember that. My favorite is Indian actually.
Okay.
As I'm growing older, I'm getting more basic with my desire for food and what it means, and like, and the I can go into a thesis about why the food, but this is not a food podcast.
Right. What is the favorite genre of music which you listen to, and you enjoy it all the time, humming to probably also.
Again, I don't have one kind of music that I enjoy. I go from classical to sometimes house to Ben Bomber to I have a very, very eclectic and wide taste for music. But I would listen to a lot more the genre of Hans Zimmer.
Oh,
That would be the bulk of my music.
okay. Uh, Amongst the current Bollywood actors, or it can be Hollywood as well, who do you think, would play the best biopic of yourself?
Oh my God, this is a real. I have no clue. I have no clue. Have to be somebody mid-age now. I personally don't think a biopic will be made for me, so I don't think that is
I'm
something
sure it will
I've
be
ever
because
thought about. Sorry.
I'm 100% sure because you're doing such exceptional work, so there has to be one. And
Nobody wants to know. Nobody wants to know about. It's a regular life with hard work and relentless pursuit. I don't know whether people really want to know that. They want to know about some magic little wizard kind of moment that changes everything. I have not had any of those things in my life. It's been pretty regular. Sorry, I can't answer that question because I've never thought about it.
okay, what is that one legacy that you choose to leave behind, and someone that people remember you by?
I think earlier it was a different thing, but I have been thinking more and more about my current desire set, which is actually to inspire and empower more people to enter the realm of the arts for India and in India. So when I think about all that has to be done, I feel like we've had a lot of indigenous art that is brilliant, that was kind of relegated to not being important. And I hope that eventually I can help build a system by which I'm not going to call it skilling because it's not about skilling, but about empowering more people to remain in the arts and to grow that sector so that um, it puts away pressure from getting a job. Everybody's a mini entrepreneur then.
Right,
And we have so much phenomenal talent in the country. Talent should be able to monetize that if we are able to empower them with the tools.
right.
So my advocacy of soft power for India is never going to change. But I think contemporary art, as we are working on it, and many more people are coming into the field, I think it'll achieve its uh, it'll go places. But I think this is the place eventually that I'd like to focus on.
Okay. And my last rapid fire round, if you had to define, in brief, the difference between the millennials and Gen Zs of today.
So first of all, I constantly forget when millennials end and when Gen Z begins. But to me, it's a very interesting generation because they're hyper connected but entirely disconnected from themselves.
Right.
And I'm not entirely sure what makes them happy, and I'm not entirely sure what's going to make them stick to a job, to a experience, to anything. So I'm a psychology student.
Okay.
So for me, I'm very curious about what's going on and what has led to this entire shift in
Yeah,
the generation because it's so different from our generation,
true.
and it's so different and it's so led by their own desire set at that moment that how like if you make a vision board, how are they going to make a vision board? Having said that, they're very bright, they're very rigorous, and they're able to get a lot done in a very short amount of time.
Right.
So I'm curious as well. I would love to know, like, I interact with them a lot,
Okay.
but I still can't understand them entirely.
I think we were in a generation where we had to listen to our parents, and now we have to listen to our children. So we are the ones stuck in the middle.
Exactly. Yeah, I think every generation feels like that, but 100% we are stuck.
Okay, so that comes to the end of the rapid fire round and the episode. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. It was such a
Thank you
great
very
time
much.
chatting with you. And you've inspired me a lot, just knowing so many things and the work, the stuff you're doing, it's truly, truly commendable. So thank you once again, Aparajita, for taking out the time.
Thank you very much, Siddhant, for doing this. I really appreciate it. If even one more person gets inspired to stay within the arts or within the segment of culture, job done.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.